Liudvikas Reza. However you pronounce his name, I'm not sure exactly. As usual. And now I've changed my mind. How to tell you this? How to explain myself? I don't know really. But it's true, I've changed my mind. And I think it's because I can't go and show you the hostel option, because the hostel option doesn't exist in Juodkrante, it seems, right now. So no point in pointing that out. The things you learn on the street. But that's where the word can tell you what's what, and in this case, what isn't. That's a shame. Therefore, instead of just walking 20 minutes this way through the dunes to get to the beach, to show you the beach, I'm not going swimming, I'm not going sunbathing. There are no interesting seashells. I'm not foraging mushrooms in the forest or berries. Therefore, I decided, rather than to return on the 12:25 bus from Juodkrante to Smiltina, then getting a ferry, being back in Klaipeda 1:30 in the afternoon, it seemed as though, hang on a minute, you got up at 6:30 this morning and you're back in Klaipeda so soon. That's not much of a walkie-talkie travel, is it? Why not put your hand in your pocket, pay the €4, Juodkrante to Nida, hope for a better, less wobbly bus, and do everybody a favour. Come on then, let's do it. There's a bus due to take us to Juodkrante, from Juodkrante to Nida at 12:33 according to this schedule. Don't really want to be sat on buses, but how else do you get there? Not everybody's got bicycles and not everybody can ride a bicycle, but it's a very popular option for lots of people. I think I mentioned you can hire bicycles at Klaipeda Hostel, take the bicycle across to the bus stop in Klaipeda, stone's throw from the hostel, put the bike on the bus, on the back of the bus, get on the bus yourself, and that bus will take you via the new ferry, not the old ferry, but the new ferry which takes buses, and it will drop you off here if you want, and then you can cycle down to Nida or just back to Smiltina, or it will take you all the way down to Nida, and if you're not staying overnight, which is another option, you can cycle all the way back up here through Nida, from Nida, through Juodkrante up to Smiltina and cycle back to the hostel. It's a lot of cycling. Some people have cycled both ways. Yeah, 100 kilometers plus. Good luck to them. I'm just going to do my walking as much as possible, but where I have to, I'll fall back on the bus. So be prepared. Brace yourselves for Nida. And the first thing you might like to do on arrival in Nida is check the times of departure of the buses, because you don't want to get stuck here, do you? Maybe it would be nice to get stuck here, but under the circumstances, getting stuck here isn't an option for me. There's a bus at 5, or a bus at 6, or a bus at 8. But we don't want to get the last ferry, or we don't want to miss the last ferry. Okay, Nida to Smelting are €6. There are buses which go directly back to Klaipeda bus station, aren't there? Would that be a good option? Do I commit myself now at something like 1:30 to the 5 o'clock bus? Well, I'm not going to get the 2, am I? So I could commit to the 5 or the 6. But then what times are the ferries? Because I'm seeing different things online and different things being posted on different posts. I mean, literally pieces of paper, because the timetables change by the month. And I think some of them haven't been updated. I think I'm going to check at tourist information, which is conveniently right next door. What is the latest timetable for the ferries? I think that would make sense. I think I might pick up a map of Nida while I'm here. Thank you very much, tourist information, because I wasn't planning to come to Nida, but here I am. Unfortunately, for some reason, and it makes no sense to any of us as tourists, tourist information is closed on a Sunday. It is open on a Saturday, but it's closed for lunchtime, 1 until 2 in the afternoon. So they've only got one person working there the whole day, I guess. And yeah, a little bit disappointing. It's a -1 point, maybe -2 points actually. Yeah, -2 points, because in a tourist place you shouldn't be closed on a Sunday if you're tourist information, and you should have some cover for lunchtimes, because tourists aren't all going to be sat in a restaurant between 1 and 2 o'clock having their lunch. Some will come here wanting information. So I can't get the information I need, and that means I can't make the decision about buying the bus ticket in advance right now. I can come back here after 2 o'clock and hope they finish their lunch and ask for the information I need. I'll have to do that. Nice tourist map. What to do first? Well, the only thing really that would draw me back would be the old cemetery as a must-see, you know. Still curious to walk around the place. Nida's Ethnographic Cemetary and grave marks. Now we're talking my kind of scene. Let's take a look. See what Nida has to offer, other than canine trip hazards. I don't know if you can see what I can see, but there's a spooky piece of sculpture in somebody's garden there. Now that I like. And somebody's been to the Weathervane Gallery and bought themselves some bits and pieces. Isn't this nice? What a lovely collection of decorative features in your garden. They've even made a feature out of those old buoys. Lovely. Seems like we've got some competition here from the neighbours. And they do like to add these extra things on their rooftops. Like a Viking longhouse. I'll walk back by the seaside once I've been to the cemetery. Mustn't get sidetracked. I've given the bus situation some thought. I've gone back and I've bought myself a ticket. I've secured myself a place on the bus at 5 o'clock. It was going to be 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I can't see myself being here needing more than 4 hours to look around the place. Could be wrong, of course. There are some other options if you don't want to do the journey from Nida all the way up past Juodkrante onto Smiltina for €6 and then take the ferry for €1.50 back across the channel to Klaipeda's old ferry terminal. You can instead get one of the international buses, as they're called on the notice board back there, but they're actually buses which run from Nida to Vilnius and also Nida all the way to Kaunas. There are 3 buses this afternoon between 3 o'clock and 4:30. Those are the other options. They would take me all the way back via the new ferry terminal to Klaipeda bus station. The benefit of going directly back to Klaipeda bus station means you're right there for the hostel. The only drawback with those international buses, as they're called, is that they cost €9, which means it's an extra €1.50. 30 minutes walk from the terminal, save €1.50 if I go back the way I came. Or do I want the luxury of spending the extra €1.50 on a bus which will take me directly to the bus station? Mermaid sculpture? No, not quite, just a naked lady sculpture. Welcome to Nida. More nice weather vanes on display. A hooded figure in a cowl. Spooky. There are also some particularly large sand dunes which are marked out for tourists to go and visit. In the distance, from the top of a particular point in the sand dunes, you can gaze out and guess what you see? Probably very little, but in theory there will be Russian border guards in their tower looking back at you, just making sure that nobody's trying to come across the sand dunes and enter Kaliningrad region, Russia. Frankly, why would you want to? They might be coming out the other way, but not to go in. Not so much anyway. Might be nice in Kaliningrad region. Never been. Was that a dog in a basket? Not a chicken in a basket, but a dog in a basket, I think it was. Here we have, I think, the puppet theatre. And why do I think it's a puppet theatre? Has my knowledge of the Lithuanian language suddenly improved vastly? No, I think it's a giveaway here, isn't it? It should be apparent fairly easily. Up here on the left, church followed by cemetery. Nice, easy peasy. There's some nice weather vanes up there, top right. And in the foreground, we've got a bit of a... Is it too ridiculous to say Easter Island vibe going on? Very odd-shaped figures. And what are their origins? This is all outside the Amber Museum. Maybe the secret is revealed once you go into the Amber Museum. Otherwise, we've got here sculptures from Neolithic amber amulets of Juodkrante's treasure. I wonder how authentic they are. This YouTube video malarkey. It's given me the opportunity to revisit places as well as see fresh places I've never been to before, to capture them on video. I won't ever need to try and remember and fail to remember again. I just need to go to YouTube and look at my own videos. Probably the only one going to be doing that in any case. And this is why I'm here, the Ethnographic Cemetary of Nida. The uniquely shaped wooden tomb monuments, typical on the Coronian spit, have remained in the Nida Ethnographic Cemetery dating back to the 19th, 20th century. Horse heads, plant and bird symbols used to be carved for the deceased men, while the female tomb monuments usually had birds, plants and hearts. In 1975, the tomb monuments in the Nida Cemetery were restored by the artist Eduardus Jonušas, who is now also buried here. This is what I came for, and once again it's in Braille. It's this way. Ah, there's the church. I was wondering, well, why haven't we come across the church first and then next to it, afterward, the cemetery? And the answer is that the church is right up there. Yep, I don't recognise the church or the cemetery. I recognise that fella. What we can see immediately is some very nice ironwork, as well as these wooden shaped grave markers. And these are clearly much more modern than the really historic ones. These have got a bit more wear and tear about them, haven't they? 1901. I have to admit there's one particular grave marker I'd love to see again. Of a man who had lived 100 years. These haven't been engraved, or if they had something else to give the people's names, those things, plates or whatever, have been lost. Venture down between the graves carefully. Ooh. It's a real old piece of wood. Ah, and this grave belongs to the man responsible for restoring the wood markers. He died in 2015 at the age of 68 plus 15, 83. Well, Eduardus, you had a good innings. I hope it came quick and painless for you at the end. And thank you for your work, sir. Yep. Some of the details completely lost. And some perhaps never had names actually written on them. Teasingly looks as though it's got the numbers 4, 5 written on. And other numbers as well, but that's nice and bold. 1904. The symbol cross is clear enough on that one next to it. Michael, 1887. Needn't. 1880, man born 1818, no, 1813. Of course, there is that possibility, isn't there, given that I've not been here for so long, that the marker I saw has in the last 19 years at some stage finally been lost to the effects of the elements. Isn't this a lovely one? No name, but because there are bird symbols, presumably a lady, birds and heart, that means female. Another one back there, not painted, but still ornate. People have carried out the work carefully and considerately. The marker which has stuck in my head for all these years, I think it was lower to the ground. But in time, just like the markers, my memory fades. Emma Blöde, geboren Zander. So Emma Zander married a man called something or other Blöde. Herman, presumably, her husband over here. And the people here seem to be reasonably long-lived, even when we think of, in years gone by, people not having access to the modern medicines. A man in his 80s. I might have to concede defeat. Somewhere, hopefully, I've still got a photograph of that old marker, because it looks as though, unless it's been overlooked with the camera on today's visit, then maybe it's just no longer here. Still a nice place to come to, I think. From my slightly strange perspective, I suppose. My highlight of Nida. Is it likely to change during the course of this afternoon, I wonder? Probably not. But you never know, do you?